I don't know what this.
Welcome to Headlocks, Heels, and Havoc, the wildest mixed tag team in podcasting, where the kayfabe drops and the chaos takes over. Let's ring the damn bell.
Headlocks tight, heels on the prowl, dropping elbows, hearing growl, feel the foul. No script here, just real, no bluff. Kayfabe crack, now the dirt gets rough. Headlocks, heels, havoc in the zone. Stepping in the ring, chaos at your home. No filters, no mask, just raw bands on. Wrestling unscripted, we on the throne. Title bells, mic checks, crowd going crazy. Drop truth bombs, leaving lines feeling hazy. Beyond the kayfabe, past the charade, where legends are born and stories get made. Headlocks popping, who's hitting the mat? Welcome to the Havoc where the real talk's at. Tune in, step through, leave the fake at the door. Headlocks, heels, Havoc, now hear the roar.
Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. I am one half of the greatest tag team in podcasting. It's me. It's that Legend. And with me, as always, is everybody's favorite uncle and my favorite tag team partner, Uncle Slam.
Thank you, sir. Shout out to all the family and friends out there.
And back with us once again from our last show, well, my favorite professor, Professor Bear.
Hello. I'm glad y'all hadn't got tired of me.
No, sir. Never, man. We're fans. We're fans before we're podcasters. I always say that first. You know, it's the way you have to be in this business. You got if you're not a fan of it, then just stop trying to do anything in the business because you ain't gonna do nothing worthwhile. Fans know what they want. We know how. Well, we hopefully know what we want and how to give it to people. But that's still, neither here nor there too. But no, you know how it is, guys. We always just sit here and do a few. Well, I say a few, but we end up running forever on these shows. But we do a few headlines and everything. And of course, as it is, I always start out with something a little goofy. I couldn't find much this week. There was there was a few stories, but the stories I got are kind of big and they encompass a few things. But to start us out here, we'll do something a little bit goofy and everything. Delete one of these guys from WWE history and tell me who you're going to delete. We'll start with you since you're the guest, Professor Bear. Who are you going to delete?
Generally, this would be very easy for me because of one of the people on there I just cannot stand. I mean, cannot stand him. But I hate to say that and turn around and delete him because he brought so much history to WWE. But if I had my choice, Hogan would be gone.
Okay. And now that's your personal choice, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Now,
okay.
If we go just, I guess, sense-wise, if I had to pick one to get rid of, it may be Austin.
Oh, and really, that's surprising.
Yeah, why is that? I'm curious.
Now, Austin is in that vein of the attitude there. Now, and I know how much the attitude there meant to wrestling, but what would have happened to wrestling if Austin would have stayed in WCW and would have stayed the stunning Steve Austin? How different would the world have been? The world of wrestling.
I mean, that's a good question because would The Rock have come along? Would the
Austin McMahon feud? You know what I'm saying? Like that was a huge thing. Like would we still have DX? Like would we still have all the cliques and the factions like the Nation of Domination and the corporate or the ministry?
The ministry
would have WWE end up going out of business.
Yeah.
Right.
Would there still be a Monday Night War?
Yep.
Exactly.
Oh
Because I
God,
mean,
that's so
NWO was
massive.
running roughshod. To steal an old wrestling phrase, running roughshod.
Yeah.
Uncle Slam, who you getting rid of?
To me, this is kind of simple. Now, if I put personal choices aside, obviously, because of the shit Hogan said outside the ring, that would probably be abnormal. But if I'm going to put that aside, Cody's got to go. It's just easy and shit. Hogan was too massive. Austin was so massive, and John Cena. I wouldn't say he was massive, but his longevity and to carry the company, I think when they didn't really have anybody to carry it. Uh, Cody, I don't want to hate on him. I just feel like he's more like I don't even like saying a placeholder uh, because he is a good wrestler and shit. But I just like when you stack him against the other three, like I don't think there's any time. I mean, there's no way to compare.
See, for me, I'm gonna go John Cena because I've never been a Cena fan and I hate the PG era.
Either, but I respect
But
the work.
yes, I respect his hustle and I respect the fact that the man was there night in and night out. He didn't take a day off, injuries or nothing like that. As far as a wrestler, I respect the man to death. As far as personally liking him, he just was not my cup of tea as a wrestler. Um, with Cody, if I'm gonna go just logically and not using my emotion, it's gonna be Cody. And the reason I say Cody is because of the fact that I feel like I don't want to say nepotism because it's not his dad running the company, but I feel like there is a whatever the synonym or whatever you call it of nepotism is, it's what it is because it's almost like they're making up for what they didn't do for Dusty with him. And I get it. It was great to finish the story, but I don't know that Cody is the guy that's going to carry the company. But like right now, I don't look at it as any one person is carrying the company. I feel like there's a nice collection of people that are carrying the company, like CM Punk, Roman, Cody. I used to say Seth, but I think they've kind of given up on Seth with all the injuries and stuff too, and everything. So for me, it's going to be. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, for me, it's going to be Cody.
I almost feel like they're finding somebody. Like I feel like Roman's kind of holding it until they find that next guy, whether it's a Braun, whether it's the Jekyll Fatu, or I feel like Seth's time's kind of winding down. I feel like obviously Brock's return and stuff like that. I feel like it's more they're looking for that guy right now than they kind of and like Cody and Roman are just kind of holding that spot warm until they do find that next big thing, whatever it is.
For me, I think Cody is in that next spot as far as he's gonna have to come heel. Everybody, yes. Even Sammy pointed out, everybody done turned on you, man. Everybody.
Right.
And it's starting to get stale that they don't build up the heels, enough heels for it to make sense with Cody. I think it's time they finally make Cody go heel. And I know Cody doesn't want to. I think he's in that same position he was in AEW. He's trying to fight it as much as possible, but they're like, yeah, buddy, you're going to have to turn. And I always look at things like this too. We have a recency bias. It's so much easier to kick Cody off the island than Cena, Hogan, Austin, because the other three, you really can't imagine what would have happened to wrestling without them.
Sure.
And that's the thing. They just had such a big impact that I don't think Cody's impact can match any of the other three's impact. And I mean, that's the only reason I would logically go with him. But anyways, that was just a little treat for us. I don't know if anybody's seen this, but the guy who came up, Eddie Andelman, I hope I'm saying his last name right. The man who came up with the King of the Ring passed away at 89. Now, I didn't know who this guy was, so I went and looked him up. He was a longtime Boston sports radio icon. He came up with the concept. What was it I think it was like 80. It was between 84 and 86. He teamed up with Vince McMahon at Sullivan Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts. Shout out to the Patriots. And it was, he done it on land that he owned, and it started a charity show benefit for children's causes. So the King of the Ring tournament started as a benefit tournament just to, raise money for kids. But here's what I didn't know. Do you know who the very first King of the Ring tournament winner was?
Don Morocco.
Yes, sir. Don the Rock Morocco is the very first King of the Ring winner. And what was it? The 1986 event is, I believe, when it was. But I mean, that's just awesome. You know what I'm saying? To know that, Vince was using people outside of the business to come. I mean, it's a great concept. It's still around here. It is 40 years later. I just wish they did it a little bit different. I miss those one night pay-per-views of nothing but a King of the Ring tournament. I wish they would stop with, we got to have a world title match every pay-per-view, and we got to do this every. It just. No, you don't. You really don't have to do that.
But that's the only time they defend the belt.
This is
that's
true.
The only
this
time
is
we
true.
get a title defense is at a pay-per-view. They sure as hell don't do it on Raw and shit anymore.
I 100%
they barely
agree.
You might get 5 title defenses out of Roman Reigns probably this year.
If that, man, he's like scheduled for 6
3
months,
appearances. Yeah, I mean that's pushing it. So
I would take Roman's 5 to Liv's none. At least he defends it. How? Look, I'm about to go on a tangent. I can't
Go ahead. Hot take.
Why in the hell do we have a world champion in the Queen of the Ring tournament? Why?
Right.
It makes no logical sense. We're trying to build somebody up to get the title match. It doesn't make sense because they're not gonna combine the titles, and if they do, they're just gonna break them up. Look, WWE, TKO, come front of the class. When you have titles, you have to have people defend them. Stop letting half your roster sit in damn catering and not do a damn thing.
Stop buying up all the talent around you just so that other people can't have them on the roster. But it was funny when you said come a little closer. All I could see, I don't know the dude's name, but I watch him all the time. There's a dude who's on social media, and he's always finding out the recipe for how to make.
I know exactly
and he'll be like, come here, come a little closer, and he zooms it in, and when he zooms it in, he'll eat something, take his glasses and throw them across the room and everything. As soon as you said that, that's all I could see was that was great.
And let me tell you this too, the reason why they are doing the King and the Queen of the Ring tournament gets a championship match at SummerSlam. This is to counter the Owen Hart tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Owen Cup.
That's the only reason they're doing it. Like, why can't we just have the King of the Ring or, / Queen of the Ring and let that be a title to carry around for a year? And I'm not saying like an actual belt, but just like Booker T did. For a whole year, we got King Booker, and it was like, that was some of the greatest stuff he ever did. It got on my nerves.
Anybody else carry it like him, though?
I mean, I don't think you could. Well, look at King Corbin. That was terrible, but that should have
Yeah,
been
that's what
enough
I'm
to
saying.
revive his career. But they've made it into a joke so much anymore now that you never know. Is the guy going to walk around with a king and a crown and a cape for a year, or is it just going to be forgotten about in 2 weeks? You know what I'm saying? And that's what I hate about the tournament now, is that it's not. And I'll be honest with you, and no, I'm not throwing hate at him, but all that started when Bret Hart won. When Bret Hart won, and he wasn't walking around as king of the ring. But to be fair, they needed him to start wearing that world title. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like, there was a lot of choice. But I think that the whole concept of I don't have to walk around with a crown and a cape and everything. I mean, come on, for God's sake, Haku walked around with a crown and a cape.
It's funny you bring him up. It's funny because I was going to ask you, who was the only king to walk around without winning the tournament?
Haku. It was given to him after Harley Race had to retire after that match with Hulk Hogan.
Yep.
Because he had to have that surgery. Well, he didn't. Did he fully retire there? Or
no,
was that just like
he just ended up leaving WWE.
Yeah.
And here's another good fun fact. I forgot Tito Santana was the king of a ring winner.
Yep. Sure was. What was it, 89 or something like that? Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
I totally forgot about that. Matter of fact, I was about to argue with somebody, and I was like, holy shit, he did win it.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. So many people, they never announced that on TV. Former King of the Ring, Tito Santana. It was always former Intercontinental Champion, former Tag Team Champion. Well, King of the Ring is an accolade. So why are we not giving the man his flowers? I'm sorry. He just needs it. I love Tito Santana. But in recent years, I've heard that he wasn't the nicest person in the locker room, is what I have heard. I don't know how true that is, but I'm going to be doing some deep diving on that, because it's been more than once that I've read that now.
I couldn't imagine Tito not being a nice guy.
That's me. I that's all I can think of is, Arriba, and Tito being, I don't know. I always kind of like Tito, but
because he said Arriba, you couldn't imagine him being a big guy.
No, just the white meat baby face, was, how he was portrayed. He was always the guy that was going to come out, and I never worried about Tito Santana turning heel on anybody.
Oh yeah,
it was always somebody turning on him.
Yeah. And I was gonna say, hell, he was a teacher. I mean, some of the stuff that certain people, when I think of people never turning heel, I always think Ricky Steamboat, Tito Santana.
Yep. Could you imagine sitting in the back of the class talking, standing up, you hear your teacher say, "Can you please sit down?" You just don't pay no attention to him. "Can you please sit down?" And then all of a sudden you just hear footsteps running at you really fast. By the time you get turned around, here comes a flying forearm, right? You're going to sit down one way or the other, buddy. He stands up and goes, "Arriba!"
You got to sit on your chest. Arriba!
Sit your ass in that seat.
That's exactly it.
Are you Rick modeling me? Are you going to try to turn on me?
That's it. Right. Then the principal comes in, "Sir, I'm sorry, but you can't flying forearm people. You can't even put them in the figure four." He's like, oh, so you turning on me, huh? We were tag team partners, and now you turning on me.
He'll wait till
the whole school turns
on his back, and then he'll hit him with the forearm.
Right. Oh my gosh. All righty, moving on to the next one. Big E, former WWE champion Big E, to release an unfiltered memoir on the depression and psychosis for the first time. On depression and psychosis for the first time. "I'm telling all of it," is a direct quote from him. Like, I'm guessing from what I read of this, it's about the depression. and just the mental state, being forced to retire, put him in and everything. Because I honestly and truthfully, I think had Big E broke away from the New Day and actually, I think he needed a heel turn. I think he could have been a massive, massive. And speaking of which, that's another person that we didn't really talk too much on the last episode about too, Big E. But I think he could have been a major, big time bad guy. Just the power guy that, he could have been like a bad Obafemi or a bad Brock Lesnar or something like that. It went out to Brock Lesnar was ever really a good guy, but Brock was kind of like a Stone Cold. He wasn't good. He wasn't bad. He was just he didn't like nobody. But I think Big E, had he not broke his neck, we could be talking about Big E right now fighting Cody Rhodes for the world title and stuff. What do you all think? Uncle Slam or whoever wants to go first?
See, I don't know because I'm not a huge fan of Big E. Like, he was all right. I wasn't, like I said, and I also wasn't a huge like New Day fan. So
you didn't like pancakes, man?
I'm probably not the best person to ask about them, honestly. Like I said, but I kind of agree with you, like a little bit about him turning heel because he always was such a friendly guy. Like, I think maybe heel turn might have helped him a little bit. I can see why you would say that. I don't know if it would have worked, but I can see definitely why you would say that.
I think him turning on the New Day, if he wasn't hurt, would have been better than him getting hurt and then the New Day kicking him out.
Yes. I do like that idea a whole lot more than the other one. But yeah, I mean, like, it is always a shame, and of course injury cut his career short or whatever. And I think he could have been a whole lot more. Like I said, if he had been able to stay healthy, unfortunately, it happens. But, I mean, that's a lot to deal with, you know what I'm saying? Because he was on top and then he broke his neck and then he had to give it all up. But
Professor
I think he's
Bear?
a commentator now, ain't he? Or like he's a reporter.
Yeah. He does like the pre-shows and stuff like that and everything.
Yeah. So at least he's still a little bit involved in this.
Right. Professor Bear?
I think, I think I could have definitely seen him turning heel. If they would allow him to just do it his way, I think, like, the whole New Day turn, like, I honestly would have been okay with him being their manager to keep it going. But as far as the depression and stuff, I mean, you could take that with any everyday life, and I would use my situation. Hell, I had back surgery and hip surgery where I couldn't work. I'm disabled now, and for a little while it bugged the hell out of me. It really messed with me a lot. And then finally, after being able to find, and funny enough, being able to get into podcasting, it gave me an outlet where everything was a lot better. And I could see why he hadn't said anything, because they kept them so positive. No matter what, it's positive. So I could see them telling him, "Hey, no, everybody loves you as that positive guy. Stay positive. We ain't gonna talk about that." But that would definitely mess with me.
Yeah,
because it's not like he was so old that his career was coming to an end. He was still young. He was still doing things. He just came off of a world title run. So, yeah, I definitely could see where it would mess with him mentally.
Now, I have a question about Big E because I remember when they first brought him in, he was Big E Langston. Wasn't he wearing like Jamaican colors? And is that why they put him with Kofi? Because they were
Um,
trying to do that like Jamaican connection, even though, Triple H called Kofi out and was like, what happened to your Jamaican accent? He said, yeah, I got a question. Where'd your accent go?
um, they I'm they put them together because him Woods and Kofi wasn't doing anything, so they figured we'll throw them together, and it's funny because the original thing for the New Day was supposed to be ministers.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I did not know that, but that makes sense with the name, the New Day.
Yep. The whole that's why they actually took the music kind of from Kurt Franklin. The style of music and stuff, they took it from Kurt Franklin. If you would see um their early promos, you see them in a chorus and they doing the same clapping and everything, and they were all in suits. And
Wow, that
it
I can't imagine that.
Luckily enough that they just gave up on it and let them do their own thing, and they were able to shine.
So, but they were basically just the modern day New Age Outlaws.
Yeah.
We ain't doing nothing with these guys. Let's put them together and see what happens. And magic happened.
Yep.
I mean, you can't deny the magic of the Outlaws. So, probably one of the greatest, I'd say top 20 greatest tag teams of all time. I won't necessarily say their in-ring skills were the best. I mean, Billy Gunn's good and he can still go, but even Road Dogg will sit there and tell you, he said, what was it? He answered, he answered a question for us on, they were doing, him and his wife were doing a live as they were traveling. And I luckily got one of our question in, and I just asked him, I said, what did he enjoy better? Did he enjoy the singles runs or the, tag team stuff with Billy? And he said, well, he said, to be honest with you, he said, when they did the singles run, they put the Intercontinental title on me, and then they realized they put it on the wrong person. So they put me down to the hardcore championship. He said, so that was really my singles run. He said, so, he said, that was the long way of me telling you that, the tag team stuff was always the best for me because I always had Billy there with me and everything, which is cool that they're still friends the way they are to this day.
Yeah.
Well, like he said, he only had to do half the work. So
right. That's exactly what he said. Plus, I only had to do half the work. So, all righty. Now, here's my question for you. How long till this guy is out of the NFL and into the WWE ring?
Brock Steiner.
Brock Steiner. That is Scott Steiner's son. So you could possibly have a Steiner instead of the Steiner brothers. It'd be the Steiner cousins.
Don't have the same ring to it, though.
I know it doesn't. Not at all.
It's like any other team of family. I'm just because you're a Steiner don't mean you're gonna be good.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna. I'm gonna hold my thoughts until he gets in the ring and be able to see what he does. Because no disrespect to David Flair, just because you're a Flair don't mean you're good.
Oh my Lord. I saw that match. I don't know who, I can't remember who he was fighting. All I remember is that was like, it was in regular speed and it looked like the slowest of motion drop toe hold I have ever seen in my life. And then he got up and bounced off the ropes, and he kept his arms right here.
Yeah.
The whole time he's like, bounce off the rope and then come running that way. And then he barely jumped over the guy. And then he turned his whole body at the last second and then off that rope. And it's like, man, you're allowed to move your arms. I promise. They're not gonna fire you for that, man.
Now,
David Flair.
I will say David is one cool individual. I got to talk to him for like almost an hour, and me and him cut up, had a great conversation. Everybody just don't get the gene.
That's
Everybody
ain't Charlotte Flair.
Oh yeah,
that's just the way it is. Yeah. And I hope and that's not being discouraging towards Brock. I hope he has a wonderful NFL career. I hope everything works out to where he can, because I don't want to say he's probably going to make. He's going to hurt his body just as much playing, pro football. But, the chances of him making a lot more money doing that and having a successful career are probably a lot higher than they are going to wrestling and doing it, just because of the success rate of wrestling. We all know, the best of the best in a school doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be a wrestling superstar down the road. You could be the best. Look at, what's his face? The first Tough Enough. John Morrison didn't even win. And unfortunately that the gentleman, I can't think of his name. He was with Ohio Valley for a while. He was a teacher and stuff. He's passed away since then. The blonde-headed guy that Bob Holly just kicked the crap out of. I will never forget that.
Every time I think of him, I think of the beat down that Bob, Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit gave him.
Yes, man. I was like,
oh, now I know who you're talking about. Okay,
yeah, the long-haired, curly-headed guy.
Yeah, like what did he do? Like he did something to somebody.
Kurt. He tried to sandbag Kurt.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah. Bob Holly wasn't having it.
They kicked his ass.
Yeah.
That was one of the probably what I enjoyed the most of a Royal Rumble. They just teed off. They just stopped the match and it's like
take turns. Bam.
Oh,
bam.
God. Yeah, I can still see it too. Oh,
I feel bad for him, man. I still remember watching that episode of Tough Enough where he was just kind of laid in the corner and laying his head on that bottom rope, and Bob Holly's just like kicking the crap out of him. I was like, wonder if he's pulling it. I was like, well, I guess the blood squirting out of his lip says no. I was like, geez, man. I wanted to be a professional wrestler until I saw that. And I was like, no, I ain't doing that, man. One wrong move and I'm getting beat up.
I always said to myself, these are the people that I would just try to stay the hell away from, and either stay away from or keep my gun on me.
Yes.
Bob Holly, Brock Lesnar, Mean, them.
Yes.
The worst, just the worst, like, okay, you're going to calm down moment was when Brock sucker punched Braun Strowman.
Yep.
And triple threat.
Yep.
God.
He hit him with that knee, and the next thing you know, I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah, he went down. Like, he felt that shit. He was like, oh.
Braun Strowman was like, okay, I get it.
I get it. Don't do that.
He got hit with the hams, man.
He was trying to tag out in a triple threat match.
it was a good thing Kane had that mask on so nobody could see him laughing.
Yep. You talk about, this is the definition of a receipt in wrestling. Yep. If you ever want to know what a receipt is, go watch that little clip.
Yeah. Go to a dictionary.
Yes.
That's what it is.
The wrestling dictionary defines receipt, and all you see is a picture of a knee getting into Brock Lesnar's head, and then Brock Lesnar, that's it. That was done.
I mean, he dropped like he was a bag of flour.
Yeah, and Braun's a big dude, man.
Yes.
Like that's a.
Have you heard him talk
big
about
dude.
it? I mean, like he'll even admit he's like, yeah, man, I might have hit him with the knee a little too hard, and next thing I know, he's saying I almost blacked out. He was like, you can see him like,
What was it? He was like a Stu off of the Scream movies. He said, "I'm getting woozy over here, man." He's like, "My mom and dad are gonna be so mad at me." He lost all consciousness right in the ring, and he was wide awake, looking at everybody, going, "I don't know who I am. Something happened 5 seconds ago, and I don't know what happened." Yeah, it was great. I seen this, guys, and I'm kind of sad, but I didn't get a picture of it, and I wished I had. But man, he is working his butt off. But kind of sad because we're going to see the end of a career. But the Big Show is set to end his wrestling career at AEW Dynamite Beach Break in 2026. Reports say that AEW is planning Big Show's retirement match at the Beach Break event. Paul White, better known as the Big Show, started his wrestling career during WWE's Attitude Era. No, he didn't. Whoever reported this needs to, go on. He started in WCW. His very first match, he won the world title from Hulk Hogan, which that's a big thing. And then he got ribbed and was told to wear the title everywhere, and he did. And everybody, he's like, "Man, take that damn title off, man. What are you doing?" But he left WWE in February of 2021 after contract disagreements, and has been with AEW pretty much ever since. But I seen some pictures of him doing his workout, man. He is like, he's cut again. Now I know
he's now.
I want to, gosh, he's got to be pushing 60, maybe. Let's see. We will find out exactly how old he is.
He looks like he's back in his 20s easily.
Yep. PAULWIGHT. He is 1972, so he's 54 years old. So, I mean, he's had a good career. He's been world title a couple times. But as I did hear somebody say, nobody has turned face or heel more than the Big Show. And it's almost like, man, they just didn't know what to do with him sometimes. It was like, okay, we need a bad guy to go out there and just punch somebody. So they just send him out there. Well, it's the Big Show.
I always tell people, I don't know who has the most heel face change, him or Natty.
Right. I mean, are they even, is it determined that they can just go out there and hit whoever they want to, and that's just it, you know?
Yeah, basically.
I thought that was a running joke about him turning heel and stuff so many times.
Yeah, I mean, well, because you never knew from one week to the next. 1 minute he's with the Job Squad and he's helping them out. Next minute he's choke slamming every minute. The next week on SmackDown he's choking all of them off of a building or something. It never made any sense. No. I don't know. I kind of wish that the WWE would have used him a little bit better, because to me yes, he was kind of one of those guys that never really needed the world title, but I think he would have benefited from a few more title reigns. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he was an attraction just because he was big like Andre and stuff like that. But like, I don't know. I don't think he ever really kind of got over that hump, if that makes sense.
I agree with you. I think that the constant flip-flopping made him less of a draw, and it took away an important element of his, because 1 week he's beating up the whole damn locker room, and then the next week he's losing to Gilbert.
Yep.
For no reason. None. Yep. And it's like, you just never know. Whatever Like, hey, let's just change the Big Show again. Now, yeah, he just jobbed to everybody in the locker room, but that's okay because we're gonna have him beat everybody. Nobody cared after a while. It's just like, that's
Big
just
Show's here. Cool. That's cool. Big Show. Yay. I think honestly and truthfully, he would have benefited so much more if you would have brought him in, let him just destroy everybody like Brock Lesnar, and then just made him go away.
Yeah.
He's gone for 6 months. You didn't know what was going, man. Because could you imagine 6 months of not seeing him, and then all of a sudden, well, it's the Big Show, and he comes out there and just straight punches everybody in the ring and lays everybody out. And then it's like, oh crap, he's a threat to come after that world title. And then, okay, he wins it. The guy gets his, comeback and, wins the title back. And then he disappears again. It would have been so much better, my opinion. But anyways, I could be wrong. Who knows? This next one I've got is kind of a double-edged sword because there's two stories wrapped up in one. Kayla Braxton says many WWE fans are overly creepy, and she felt unsafe with them waiting at hotels and airports. The accessibility that they have, I think, is a real problem. Like, they shouldn't be able to show up to your baggage claim or wait for you at the airports or like follow you up to your room at the hotel. There was too many times in WWE I felt really unsafe. I mean, all the girls do, and the guys too. Going to the airport at 5 a.m., leaving a SmackDown, and having some dude with 40 bikini photos of me with their kid right next to them that should be in bed because they know if they have their kid with them, we might not say no to them. Like, get a clue. I'll sign one for you, and I'll personalize it to you because here you go. Here's a courtesy that I don't even owe you, but I'll give this to you. I'm not about to make you a bunch of money to sell more stuff of me. Now, in saying that, this popped up. A fan found Rhea Ripley's phone number and showed up at her house. Yes, something needs to be done, but also you kind of put yourself in that limelight too. How do you all feel about the balance here? Uncle Slam, I'll start with you this time.
Obviously, like, it's an issue. I mean, like, I definitely agree with something she's saying. Safety's always got to be number one, and there are a lot of strange people out there. The internet obviously makes it easy to find people, to access people, especially like what you're doing. I mean, the information's out there. So I definitely understand, but it's like, what can you really do at an airport? Like, you can't stop people from picking up a bag that's been on your plane and stuff like that. And unfortunately, like, there's always going to be weirdos out there, that I don't know if you can really just get rid of all the weirdos in the world. You can't just lock everybody up. So I definitely get that.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I have to say that if we're going to start locking up weirdos, Trump would be the first one. I just had to get to that.
I know an island that's nobody's living on now that we can send them all to.
Exactly. But like, it's like I said, I mean, that's one of those double-edged swords, and it's kind of like what you said. Like, once you become famous, that kind of comes with it. So it's like, you're going to have some obsessed fans. You're going to have some people that kind of track your movements, unfortunately. But yeah, like, you got to be safe and stuff. So I don't know. Something needs to be done. I don't know what to be done so that you kind of protect people's safety and, keep a balance because, your fans are what make you popular. But at the same time, there's a big difference between being a fan and being obsessive or being a weirdo. Like, if you're showing up with your kid at 5 o'clock in the morning so you can get a picture, that's a little too much.
I'm questioning
like,
your parenting.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're popping up at somebody's hotel or you're coming to somebody's house, no. I mean, there's a line, you know what I'm saying? And it's one thing if you show up at an arena, if you show up at a signing, but when you start coming to people's houses, that's too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to do something about that.
I agree. Professor Bear?
Definitely there's a line to anything. Um, I'm a nobody. I always say that, and not that I don't think of myself as a human and any of that, but I've learned that I have fans. And again, I'm a big guy. So a lot of people look at me, they're going to think twice before they come run up and want to try something silly. Now, for these ladies, you're in a company that pretty much will rather use sell your goods, let's call it goods, and have people assess over you. They don't give enough security in right places. Prime example was at WrestleMania and the AJ Punk and Bailey situation. You you have to protect yourself, and I definitely think that they have to do better job with security for them. And I would say for any fans who don't know the difference between entertainment and real life, I would hate to see you on the news because somebody had to deal with you because you couldn't tell the difference. They have families. How would you feel if it was you? How would you feel if that was your sister or your mother? People need to put themselves in these positions and understand that it's all entertainment. Stop. Don't be that guy or girl. Because let's understand it's not just guys. We got these girls out here that are creepy, silly, and because they're girls, oh well, you can handle them. You're females. You can, man. Female can have a weapon on them. They could do something too, guys. Everybody needs to be protective.
I agree. I watch a lot of these First Amendment auditors. Some of them I really like. Some of them I think, they are out there just trying to antagonize people. With that, I have learned a lot about the laws and everything. And yes, there is no expectation of privacy in public. I get that. But there is a line that, as a human being, you have to draw. That if you see Rhea Ripley, or let's go back to the WrestleMania situation like you were talking about. You got Bailey, AJ Lee, and CM Punk walking through the hotel. They're in public. There's no expectation of privacy. Man, snap all the pictures you want, but don't get in their personal space to do it. To me, there needs to be something in place to where, yes, you are in public and there is no expectation of privacy, but you can't put a camera up in somebody's face. You know what I'm saying? Because right now, as long as you don't touch them, it's not assault. And I don't think that's right, because these people are, they just went out, they performed for the fans, they gave their all for their respective, whether and we're talking basketball, football, whatever, baseball. They go out there and do what they do and put it all on the line for their respective sport or job or whatever. Get the pictures you want to get while they're walking through that hotel room or down the street or whatever, but don't invade their personal space. That's just crossing a line. And one of these days, it's like you said, it's going to result in either a fan getting hurt, or it's going to result in a celebrity getting hurt. And I mean, it's happened before in the past. Fans have gotten hurt because I can't. There is a situation, I can't remember what it is, but I know it included a celebrity and paparazzi, because the paparazzi was able to sue him, even though he had his camera right up in the person's face, snapping it. But no expectation of privacy. Yeah, but be a decent human being. Yeah. And let these people, they're nice. 9 times out of 10, they're nice enough that they will stop and go, hey, and wave at you and let you get that picture, as long as, standing 10 feet away, and they'll acknowledge you. And that's a cool thing. Don't ruin it for everybody else by being a jack off, and just making it to where they've got 20 security guards around them and you can't see them walking through the hotel because there's 20 people surrounding them. Then you're not getting any picture, and nobody is. So people need to calm down. I mean, they really do. Just my opinion. I could be wrong. All righty, let's see. Oh, yeah, this is huge. So TNA has announced a workforce reduction. In a press release, the company said that the move is designed to streamline operations and sharpen strategic focus and profitability. The company also confirmed it has come to terms on the release of Tessa Blanchard, and said it wishes Tessa, Tommy, and others the best in their future endeavors. Earlier this month, TNA also granted releases to Steve Macklin and Mila Grace. Now, the Tommy they're talking about is Tommy Dreamer. He is no longer a part of the creative team. To go on with that, Tessa Blanchard claims TNA gave her an ultimatum to choose between them and CMLL, which is a Mexican promotion. So she left the company. The truth, her quote was, "The truth is, I received a lot of messages from friends and outlets, and I haven't replied to any of them yet. I want to sort things out and set the record straight today here. I have a life, and I feel very happy in Mexico. The U.S. company TNA asked me, Tessa, you need to decide whether you're a CMLL wrestler or a TNA wrestler. I took my time to think over it with my dad, whom I trust very much, a la one of the greatest. Where's it at? I can't get it in there. There you go. One of the greatest NWA Four Horsemen, Tully Blanchard. That's his daughter. So that's her dad she's talking to. So she respects him very much. My life is here. I'm just not another foreigner. I have many goals to achieve here, and I'm already reached the top of the mountain. I want everything over there, but here I have many dreams and goals to pursue. So she's went by, and again, on top of that, I got 4 pictures here building on this, and then we'll discuss it all. Of course, Tommy Dreamer, he was let go of the company as the one of the head of creative, and because he's getting let go, there's rumors that the Road Dogg is being discussed for a possible replacement. But then this came out today regarding talk of Brian James, Road Dogg, potentially joining TNA's creative team. One person in WWE noted that James was a very fundamental style booker, which would do that product a lot of good. He's enthusiastic when he deals with talent, which is also a positive. So with that being said, and there's a little bit more to this, and we'll add on to that once we get to there. What do you all think about all the talent reductions? Do you think they're doing it to streamline things, or do you think there's more going on? I personally think it has to do with a deal that's getting ready to go down. And like I said, we'll get into that here in a minute. But what do you all think? Professor Bear, go ahead.
Yes, I think it has something to do with a deal going down. I think we're on the same page as that. I think that this is just another day for TNA. How many damn times have they hired a gang of wrestlers? Then they let a bunch of wrestlers go. I don't want to sound so dismissive of TNA, I'll be the first to admit I don't watch TNA. So, but I know they play a central part in the ecosphere of wrestling. I think that if what I'm thinking is going to happen goes down, it is just another day in the office.
I swear you just took the words right out of my mind. I was thinking another day at the office.
Yeah, and I hate to say this too, but the deal with them and WWE has not benefited them worth crap.
No, not at all.
That at first it did. Now they are the jobbers to NXT, and I hate to say that. I hate to be that dismissive of them. They, whatever great talent they see, they are going to get them to WWE. They're going to sign them. Yep. Everybody else, you can job to our NXT people.
Yep. And I will firsthand, Uncle Slam will too. We just got to see Nick Namath this past Sunday. Anybody who says that man's washed up or whatever, shouldn't be in the ring anymore, doesn't know anything about wrestling, because him and Marty Clay just put on probably one of the best matches I've seen in probably the last 5 years. And so, and he's a TNA guy. There's talent in TNA, but like you said, they're jobbing it out to every other company, especially WWE. Uncle Slam, what do you think?
I'm kind of like Professor Bear. I don't watch a lot of TNA. Like, I keep up with what goes on, like the main stuff, but I don't watch it. So I've heard rumors about the whole WWE kind of buying it, but to touch to kind of touch on the reduction, if they're getting rid of talent, trying to streamline so that they can be acquired, why would you get rid of one guy and bring somebody new in? Like, wouldn't you just trim the fat and just get rid of that person and just keep the people you got or whatever? And why would Road Dogg want to go back to a WWE when he just kind of left them? You know what I'm saying? Like, he was already traded over there. Why would he want to go to TNA, which is basically going to be a subsidiary of WWE, and have to deal with the same shit? TKO pretty much running stuff.
Well, that's the deal that people are talking about, and I'll go ahead and get in that while you're doing your thought. TNA set to sign an agreement with a legendary promotion. That legendary promotion, OVW.
Oh, okay.
OVW is working towards an agreement that would see OVW become essentially a developmental system for TNA. So, with that being said, do we really think that WWE is going to buy TNA? Because WWE, if that's the case, they could have kept OVW years ago.
I mean, they could buy right now if they wanted to, and still have change left over. To be honest,
right?
I mean, it's not, like, it's not a huge, thing for them or whatever. But kind of touch on what Bear said. It's like, it's the same thing. They do use TNA as basically jobbers and shit. They're never going to let their guys lose to one of them. Like, even the NXT people pretty much run roughshod over them or whatever, which, what I'm saying? Like, it's a one-sided deal and they're getting screwed on this. But that's the way WWE always is. They're never, when it was WCW, when it was, like, they're not going to let anybody look better than them. Like, they don't want to share the the spotlight.
Yep.
Yeah, and they've always been like that. Vince is always was a greedy person, and I think Triple H kind of adopted some of it. Just crush everybody. We don't have any competition. We're always number one. That's just how they are. I like it though. Like I said, I mean, if they're going to be like a developmental for TNA, I think that's a good pipeline. I think that's a good fit. It worked well for a while with WWE. Like before they switched and kind of did their own thing.
Look at Brock and Randy, and that whole
Yeah.
Benjamin Cena, that whole
Benjamin.
class, back then, and plus the thing that I'm kind of happy about is OVW is here in our home state, and they ain't but a little bit away from Professor Bear as well. So I mean, that does bring the opportunity to get exposed to more TNA talent, especially here in our state, because as we see, a lot of TNA and OVW people, they'll go around to some of the independent companies around here, which, by the way, people, go check out these independent companies. They're putting on hellacious shows every weekend in your hometowns, and it's affordable. Go get out of the house, go do something, touch some grass and see some wrestling. But yeah, getting back to it, like, do you all think this deal will benefit TNA to where maybe they don't have to succumb to the bigger companies like WWE?
No. And the reason I say this is not a big deal. They did it before. They were in a partnership with OVW, and how did it work out? And I don't want to sound so negative, but here's my thing. TNA hadn't been relevant. The last time they were relevant was right before they fired Scott D'Amore.
Yep.
WWE is playing this game with them now. Is, hey, we're going to be in a partnership. We're going to steal all your best talent, sign them to us, and we're going to have you, the rest of them, job out to our lower tier, and we might buy you. We might not. Who knows? Because in the last since they've gotten their TV deal, which did help because WWE helped them get this TV deal with no qualms about that. What have they done since then? Nothing has made anyone say, "Oh my God, I have to go watch TNA on Thursday. I have to watch TNA." It hasn't. And again, mark my words, their former X Division champion, Heath Slater, whatever his name is, young man name is, he's going to sign with WWE.
Yep.
Mike Santana is going to sign with WWE. If you look at the partnership between TNA and NXT, TNA has never, I mean never, had one of their people win a NXT title.
Yep.
Never. Man, there have been so many people that won TNA titles. I don't even think we could stay on straight for 72 hours and still couldn't name them all. Yep. TNA needs to put on their big boy pants and either get the hell away from WWE or just say, please buy us. We're tired. Just buy us.
Yep. I agree. It was a good run. And honestly and truthfully, I'll be honest with you, I don't, as good as OVW is doing, and I know they had, bad lapse of judgment with the referee Dallas. That was just, but that was a horrible accident. You know what I'm saying? But as bad as it was, I'm glad it brought a little attention to the fact that the wrestlers need to be trained too on when to throw an X up. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be just the referee determining whether or not the match should go on. Just simple humility as a human should be able to look down and say, okay, that man's hurt. We need to stop this right now and get him some attention. But other than that hiccup, I think that OVW is doing good enough by themselves, especially here in the state of Kentucky, that they don't need this. They are the top indie promotion in this state. They're, and yes, they're still living off some reputation of being the developmental for the WWE, but that's because they had history. They did something good for a minute. They did some memorable things, especially around here in the state. So I don't think that they need this. I just personally, Uncle Slam, what do you think?
I don't think they need it. I think it will help them. I mean, obviously, they'll get some more money out of this. I've always kind of looked at TNA, because to me, there's always been the big three right now is AEW, WWE, TNA. But I always felt like TNA was always that third kid or whatever. They never got past WWE or AEW
They're the
or whatever.
NXT of WWE. It's kind of
Yeah,
like that.
pretty much or whatever. OVW, like I said, really got nothing to lose in this deal and stuff. Like I said, I do agree eventually that WWE is either going to pick them clean and then, take all their talent, which they have a history of doing that. I mean, that's what Vince McMahon did through the territory times and shit. He'd go find all the best talent and then buy them up and then keep them. Like, that's what they do. So, I mean, that's just like how they work. So, I mean, that's definitely going to happen now. Like whether they'll keep them or they'll just dissolve them. But I mean, like I said, because they already got AAA, they got NXT, of course, Raw and SmackDown. They got Evolve and stuff. I don't know if they own anything else, but
they got too much going on. Is what they got.
But it's just like most big corporations, they buy up other smaller things and bring them into their fold or whatever and shit. And you don't know that it's all one thing until it's too late. So it just seems normal to me and stuff. Honestly, it's the sad part. It's like it just seems like it's inevitable. So
I agree with Professor Bear. They just either need to say, okay, we're pulling our big boy pants up, we're getting away from everybody, we're going to do our thing, or it's here, man. Just write a check and we'll leave. You can have the name and the logo and crap. It just needs to come down to that. All righty, well, moving on. Let's see. Yeah, did you all see that the Cincinnati SmackDown show was canceled? The show, which was set to take place at Heritage Bank Center, has now been suddenly canceled, according to a new listing by Ticketmaster stating the following. Unfortunately, the event organizer has had to cancel your event. So far, that's all I've been able to find. I haven't been able to find a real reason as to why. Professor Bear, have you heard anything about that? Oh, he knows. Then hey, break the news. Okay. Break the news right here.
So, no, I don't know. This is just my theory, but isn't it kind of ironic that AEW took place Wednesday and they're taking place Saturday, and maybe those ticket sales just wasn't as going as well as they thought?
See, that's been my thing. Is like, and I've said it on here. It's not that I don't like AEW. I think as far as in-ring talent, AEW probably has the best in-ring product as far as the major corporations there is. Their storylines need a little, and it's not even that their storylines are horrible. It's just that there's too many times in their storylines, there's just no payoff. And it's just like, or the payoff is flat. And I think that's the biggest issue. But I am so wanting somebody like AEW or, even WWE at this point, AEW, WWE, TNA, somebody. I just want that aha NWO moment, that Austin 316 says, I'll whoop your ass. We need one of those aha moments to get people to move their eyes off of the WWE and say, look, there's real competition over there, and now everybody's got to step up their game. And I just don't think anybody's doing that, but this could be it. You know what I'm saying? Ticket sales may start, fluctuating from one side to the other. So, I mean, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you, but go ahead.
No. And what you said is 1,000% right. I think what's kicking in with WWE, all the talk that TKO, yeah, we know our prices are high and we're gonna keep them high. And the fans like, oh really? Okay. Man, AEW is putting on pretty decent shows. And I can afford to go there.
Nope.
And their quality of matches are just as good as y'all. So why in the world do I want to pay $500 for 2 seats when I can pay $100 for 4, get souvenirs, and still come back with little money, not much, but little.
Yeah.
And I think TKO has spit in the face of the fans for too long, and the fans are starting to show them, okay, okie dokie, we'll show you. We ain't gonna scream about it. We ain't gonna bitch about it. We'll just show you. And I want to put. I'm willing to put money on it that the ticket, if somebody could look up ticket sales, I guarantee you that's the reason why they didn't like the ticket sales, and they would have to probably half the arena, so half of the arena would have to go to the camera side so it looks full.
Yep.
Yep.
Dave joined the chat again, Uncle Slam, and he said, I guess when we were talking about TNA, he said they have Shark Boy. And he said, and Dave just said, and the merchandise is outrageous. You're right, Dave. It is. It's ridiculous. And the funny thing you say that, Professor, is because after we went to SmackDown that was at Rupp Arena a few weeks ago, and we paid an outrageous amount to be there for 4 people to show up and everything. Plus and that wasn't even counting, refreshments, souvenirs, anything like that. I found out, and I'm really quite mad about this, because if I'd have known, I could have just waited around. I'm not mad at the people who did it. Hey, jump on whatever deal you can get. But I found out that the day before, or a few days before, WWE started giving out tickets for free just for seat fillers.
Yep.
I'm like, are you kidding me?
It is funny. They are starting. What is old becomes new again.
Yep.
And WWE, well, I keep saying WWE. This is not WWE. This is TKO.
Yes.
TKO has just told us as wrestling fans.
Yes.
Yep. Fuck you. We gonna raise these prices. However, you're gonna come and buy it.
They gave us an old California hottie.
Yep.
Yeah, what you gonna do about it? What you gonna do?
What you gonna do about it?
Pay the price or don't come. What they're gonna do?
Andrade says now. What you gonna do about it?
That's it. It's sad. It's so sad. I don't know. WWE, TK, well, like Professor Bear said, it ain't WWE no more. WWE was run by Vince McMahon. TKO runs whatever this product is now. That SmackDown and Raw is TKO. I don't know how to split it. But
it's a corporation.
That's it. That's terrible. All righty, getting down to the last few here. According to you, and I'm not even just going to say WWE. I just like this question. According to you guys, and we'll let you go first, Professor Bear, who do you think deserves a true championship push, not only in WWE, but anywhere, and why?
I'm going to say, and it's going to kind of be funny. I want to see Shelton Benjamin finally win the big one. I mean, he's done so much for the business, and I just look at what he's doing now between him and Bobby. I would love to see Shelton get a run, even if it's a Darby Allin 30-day run. I just want to see him finally win the big one.
Dave said the final boss, The Rock. Dave, I think we're about rocked out as far as his runs and everything. I don't want to see that man have another world championship. Uncle Slam, who you got?
This is kind of easy, and we've talked about it a million times, honestly. It's LA Knight.
Yep,
I mean, he's
LA
been so
Knight.
close. They've hated on this man so many times, and he just, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's politics. I don't know who he pissed off, but they just will not give this man a title. Will not give him a title. So, if anybody, I would like to see LA Knight finally get one.
Okay, and it's funny you said that because that segues right into this. Because Jonathan Coachman claims that LA Knight is not well liked in the WWE and needs to leave the company. He said, quote, "I can only imagine because I've seen it so many times with my own two eyes when they write stuff and they try to, and this is what they do in WWE. They'll walk up and say, 'Hey man,' and they used to call us on a Friday and say, 'Here's what you're going to be doing.' They call LA Knight and Triple H is like, 'Listen, man, forget about what everybody saw on Unreal, man. We need you right now. Right now you're going to I can't talk tonight. Right now you're one of our main guys. That's why we're giving you your own promo segment.' Well, then what about last week in a Fatal 4-Way? People need to understand in a Fatal 4-Way, it's not how you lose, but it's if you take the 1, 2, 3. That's a big deal. Who did they pin in that Fatal 4-Way? They pinned LA Knight. You could have pinned Finn Balor. Heck, you could have pinned Royce Keys for whatever reason. He's got heat with the office, as we like to say, and they know they need to use him. They need him on the mic, but they don't want to have him get over. And this is the result of that, which has absolutely been. If I was LA Knight, I would be beyond pissed because he is also 44 years old now, and he doesn't have 5 or 10 years to get back into good graces. His time's over, and listen, he's got to walk because he can make it a lot of money in the next 2 or 3 years. I 100% agree. Something's happened. They don't like him. They don't believe in him. He needs to go. I think he could be a huge, I'm not saying necessarily like a Hogan going to WCW. I'm not saying, I'm not saying he's going to be a huge, bring every eye over to him, but he could be a huge asset for AEW. Bring him over. Give him a couple title runs. Put him in he obviously knows how to talk. He can wrestle. You know what I'm saying? So why not?
Give him a chance. I mean, that's what I say. I mean, like, we're saying, it's like Jey Uso. You put the belt on for like a month or so. You don't like it, and he loses, and it didn't work out.
He proved why he's mid-card Jey Uso.
Oh, God. You just be hating on that poor guy. I swear.
He proved it. Jimmy Uso.
Hate Jey Uso. I swear.
They got the wrong Uso. They put mid-card up there when they should have had Jimmy up there. I'm sorry. I can't stand it.
LA Knight, they missed the boat with him 2 years ago.
Yes.
And I won't say he's not good, but he is Jey Uso. He just has a catchphrase that everybody likes. He is the equal to Stone Cold Steve Austin without being able to wrestle like Stone Cold.
I think he's like a modern day Rock. He ain't the best in the ring, but he can talk all day long.
He can talk, but LA, and I will say this, he got a better shot to going to TNA and being something than he would AEW. They have more people there that are better qualified than
Yeah.
LA Knight.
You're right.
LA Knight, again, I mean his gimmick is funny. I like it. Yeah, wow. Okay, that's okay. But like Jimmy Uso, man, I'm burnt out of it. You every time and I don't like to make talk about wrestlers making mistakes. I don't like to focus on that because all of them make mistakes. It just happens in the business. But if you watch an LA Knight match, you guarantee he's going to botch something. Something he botches every single matches. Then they are telling me as a fan, we don't give a damn without telling me they don't give a damn about LA. Because he don't be hurt, he still don't be on TV. I mean, they sometimes they don't even let them get good catering. They just tell them don't fly in, we'll get you next week.
Yep. Or if he is on TV, his only reason to be on TV is to get hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got beat up by the Vision or something, which is something else they need to just give up on. I agree. They missed the boat on him 2 years ago. When he was wrestling Logan Paul at WrestleMania, he should have been somehow involved with that whole bloodline thing. You know, I'm not saying he necessarily should have been wrestling Roman, but he should have been. It wasn't Logan Paul he should have been fighting. That's all I'm going to say. And not that they put on a pretty good match. But at the end of the day, they've missed the boat with him, and he's just better off if he goes somewhere else and tries to start over because it's not going to be long before he's gone.
He needs to one or two things: ride out his contract, or hope when they make budget cuts, they cut him.
Yep. But I don't. But see, that's another thing. I don't think that they will because they're just going to keep him around so that nobody else can get a hold of him. Because they know if he goes somewhere else, it's going to make I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying it's going to make a Hulk Hogan impact, you know, going from WWE to WCW, but it's going to make an impact because he's a big name that people want to see. You know,
I think they're just holding him to kind of punish him. I mean, what could be even better? I mean, because if you fire him or you release him, he can go be a star somewhere, like someplace else. But if you hold him there and you keep him pigeonholed where he's not at the bottom, but he's never going to be at the top, like that's almost worse. That's torture. That's making him suffer and shit. So like whoever it is, like Triple H could be like, nah, he ain't going nowhere. He's going to stay right here where I want him, where I can keep him under my thumb. And he'll ride out this contract, and then we'll, you know, once he's past his prime, we'll dump him off to TNA or someplace else.
Yep, 100% agree. Good luck to you, LA. But I mean, whatever happens, happens. I hope you get something done.
As he would say back in his TNA days, dummy.
Right? Max Dupree. Was he Max Dupree in TNA?
Yeah. He was wasn't Max. He was damn.
I can't
Eli
think.
Drake.
Yes. See, he's had some weird names too. I like LA Knight the best, but I don't know about Max Dupree and Eli Drake and all that other stuff. But anyways, we're on to our last few here. I got this is supposed to be all right. So everybody's throwing a big thing that there was no mention of The Rock during Roman Reigns' WWE promo. Do y'all think that's pointing at Roman Reigns and The Rock ending up at WrestleMania fighting each other for the head of the table, the final boss type thing?
Now, why would that? I mean, like, did I miss something? I mean,
I think everybody's just honestly and truthfully, I think people are just reading more into the promo. I think people want, I don't know why, but I think people want The Rock versus Roman Reigns, and they're just wishful thinking. And I think because he didn't mention him when he was mentioning all the other names and stuff and everything, that it was just more of a, oh, look, they're building towards something, you know. I don't know.
Coming back to wrestle, honestly, like I said, man, he's got so many fires in the flame. He's already making money. I mean, and he gets paid just to show up. Like, you ain't got to wrestle. You just come out, talk a little bit. They cut him a check. Why the hell would I go get hurt like when I don't have to.
Well, he gets a check cut every month from the dividends of TKO being on the board.
Also, but I'm saying just to show up and cut a promo, he's getting paid. So it's like, he's getting double dipped, honestly. So
I think that only thing, if Rock comes back, it better be the owner of WWE. He bought it from TKO. Besides that, nah, hell, I do not want to see The Rock wrestle. Love The Rock. I'm tired of you, bro. No wrestling. No wrestling.
I was happy with you 30 years ago.
Yeah.
It's been 30 years. 30 years after Hogan was on top, I didn't want to see Hogan no more either. I mean, it's just the way it is. It's the nature of the beast.
Flair. I didn't want to see a Hogan. I don't want. Yeah, I just don't. There's certain people, man. Once they hit a certain spot, it's just like just fade with grace. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like when Jordan was with the Wizards. I didn't want to see that shit. I want to remember you in your prime when you were really good, not when you're,
having a heart attack in the middle of your last match.
Well, that's like, and I know it's not wrestling, but you were talking about Jordan with the Wizards. I remember whenever Larry Bird was going through all of his back troubles with the Celtics and everything, they actually came to him and told him, hey, can we sign you back? And all you have to do is play the home games. You don't have to travel with the team. You don't have to do it. And he was like, no, I want to play basketball if I'm going to play basketball. If I'm not going to play basketball, then no. Why would I do that? It doesn't make any sense. So I think, like you said, some people need to just bow out with grace. And I think The Rock has kind of done that. He's come back, made his little appearances, made a little check, saying, kind of giving the fans a little, nostalgia. But that nostalgia is done with, because the fans he's going to be performing for now, they probably don't know much about The Rock unless they're our age.
They know, like Dwayne Johnson, the movie star. They don't know The Rock, the wrestler.
Yep.
So
Dave said he thinks it would be a good match between The Rock and Roman. I don't think you should hold your breath though, Dave, man. I mean,
to see which one's going to be in the hospital first.
Right.
Exactly. Well, they both wrestle about the same amount of time, so I mean,
right?
I mean, shit. So,
all righty. Let's see here. We've talked about this several times, Uncle Slam, but Paul Walter Hauser, I believe this gentleman is the guy who's going to play Cactus Jack in Mick Foley in his biography film. He said, I've never applauded or been in favor of WWE's Saudi cash grabs. They can perform there, but denying all of us the likelihood of attending WrestleMania next year feels pretty gross. And I agree. Super Bowl is American football is American football. The World Series is, an American sport. Super Bowl is an American sport. NBA Finals is an American sport. Now, I'm not saying you can't have a team in London or you can't have this, but for the most part, this is where they're centered. This is where your fan base is. This is where you need to be performing. The WWE is not WWE. WrestleMania should be somewhere where the majority of the fans can get to it. That's just my opinion. Right.
Professor I don't mind Toronto. Like, I don't count that as being, out of reach for people.
Mexico.
Like Mexico's all right. I don't see them doing it there, but I mean, I'd be okay with it there or whatever. But I don't know. There's certain things, like, I feel like the Big Four should always be in America, especially WrestleMania. Now, I could live with having SummerSlam overseas. I could live with, Survivor Series or the Royal Rumble. But WrestleMania, I just think it's just one of those things, and that's just my opinion, because I know they're trying to go international. They're trying to grow the brand. They're trying to bring in more people. But I want to see it in America, because I think it's just, like you said, that's where the heaviest fan base is. I think where all the love is, and hell, we get charged more than anybody else.
Right?
So hell yeah, they need to keep it over here. Hell,
we don't get everything for free on Netflix.
What else is gonna get out of this shit?
Professor Bear, what do you think about this?
Um, I don't necessarily have a problem with them going overseas with a WrestleMania. Um, I think this is. Let me preference by saying I'm a big indie guy.
Yes.
I love my indie wrestling. I think this is going to, with them going overseas, this gives them a prime opportunity to make some great money. This gives AEW a killer chance to take the spot, and they can have all the different indie wrestling around. Because let's face it, WWE is a global brand. We as Americans always feel like if we don't get it, it's not right. We became that spoiled,
Right.
because everything is with WWE has been about us. So now they're starting to go further out, get that Saudi money, get 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 that TKO. Man, TKO would have it in Russia if they
Right.
thought they could get money out of it.
They 100%
So
would.
I don't necessarily have a problem with it as long as TKO steps up and gives a super show in their place and have a lot of indie promotions join around like they do with WrestleMania weekend. I, I think it would play better for the indies. It would be able to get more eyes on it for people who would not necessarily watch indie wrestling. Okay, they over there, but oh wow, who is this? I'm gonna take a chance on them. Oh, AEW having this big show here. All right, cool. And it's affordable. Man, I don't have to sell off my newborn son to park.
Right. Right. Exactly. I
So
want a Coke, so here's a kidney.
right. So I think it'll be in long terms, I think it'll be a good thing all around for the indie promotions.
I do too. And that's it. I would love to see something like that. If they're going to go over there and they're going to do something over there, man, have a huge, do like 5 or 6 indie indie companies come together and do their own super show over here. And then that, you could do an entire weekend. You could have, you could say 6 shows. You could have 2 different shows on Friday, 2 different companies on Saturday, or whatever, however you want to do it. Have a long weekend, start on Thursday. And then Sunday, have all 6 companies come together and do a super show. Mix the matches up to where this talent from this one's taking on this talent, blah, blah, blah. I think that's the best chance. Me and Uncle Slam have talked about it. I would love to see like all the big major companies. It'll never happen.
Well, AEW does something kind of like that with that pay per view they have through the what is it called? Yeah.
Forbidden Door.
Yeah, Forbidden Door, where they have like Stardom, New Japan.
Yeah.
There's a Mexican promotion, and there's I think there's one more maybe.
Well, but New Japan's getting ready to end their relationship with AEW.
Yeah, I mean they're going to, but I'm saying like they're going to be in this next pay per view, and that's kind of like what we touched on before, is like taking different promotions and taking their best talent and then putting them towards them.
Yep.
But to kind of touch on what you were saying before, I kind of got a question. Obviously, the WWE trying to go international, trying to grow or whatever. How come they don't hit 2 of the biggest markets, which is like India and China? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you really wanted to make a whole lot of money, wouldn't you go to China, where you got over 1 billion some people, to tap into? That's a huge market. I mean, like, look at the NBA; they're definitely trying to get in there. how come they're not going to India? Like, I mean, or like, do they go to India or China, and I just don't know about it or whatever? 'Cause I know they go overseas, but I've never seen them do a tour that I know of over there.
I know
Well,
they get India they do because of Jinder Mahal. Whenever he became champion, that was a big reason why he
Okay.
was champion then, because of they were doing a tour over there. But as far as the others, I'm not for sure. Sorry, Professor Bear, go ahead.
No, I was going to say they do shows over in Japan, um, house shows and stuff, and they're trying. A lot of it, I think, has to do with, and it's funny, like we talked about earlier. You want representation. They want people that those fans can look at and like, hey, he's
me.
one of us.
Yeah.
So I think that's a part of it. I think that it wouldn't
cultural thing maybe or something too. Also, I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
It wouldn't shock me that they would get a super show, because now if you notice, look at all the pay for views they are doing in different places now.
Yeah.
And making it fit and charging out the wazoo for them, because they know they don't get it. They don't get a lot of WWE. So yeah, it's like, okay, go ahead, let them do these other markets, do that. But while you gone from the United States, no matter how much money you make overseas, and they can argue this point if they want to, but the U.S. is always going to be your first market.
Yep. Especially in professional wrestling.
Yes. And again, I'm not knocking any other countries or none of that, but if you don't have the U.S. behind you, you're not going to be global in pro wrestling.
Right.
New Japan is big, but you put New Japan up against WWE and see who will win.
And that's the thing, though. You know, they're big, but outside of Japan, there's a lot of wrestling fans who couldn't tell you anything about New Japan, even though the internet's there now. It's not like it was in the 90s when we had to catch, special WCW pay-per-views that were featuring, New Japan wrestling and stuff and everything. It's all there online for you to be able to watch now. So if you're not watching it, then that says something, because they're not reaching out, I guess is the best way to say it. I don't know. We were speaking about LA Knight earlier. But there's some breaking news about The Miz. And that news is the end. Is this the end of an era approaching for The Miz? According to reports, The Miz has informed WWE that he does not plan to renew his contract, potentially bringing an end to a remarkable 2-decade run with the company. Since debuting on SmackDown in 2006, The Miz has become one of the WWE's most decorated stars, including 8 Intercontinental Championship reigns, the second most in company history. Reports suggest he has grown frustrated over the lack of major world title opportunities in recent years, with interest reportedly coming from multiple promotions, including AEW. Fans are now wondering where the Awesome One could go next. If this is truly goodbye, The Miz leaves behind one of the most successful and underrated careers of the modern era. Should The Miz stay in the WWE or make one final run elsewhere? What do you gentlemen think?
Leave.
He said leave.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I just feel like I say, he's accomplished everything that they're going to let him accomplish here. Why not test the waters? You know what I'm saying? I think he'd be a perfect pick for TNA. I don't see him like at the AEW or whatever, but I think he could go to TNA. I think he could be successful. I think he would have to be a world champ. He might be able to bring them up to to the second level instead of being the third one. because I don't see WWF just really giving him another push. I don't think they're going to do anything with him besides what they're doing right now, and that he's basically a jobber. So, yeah, go someplace else. Test
I
the water.
agree.
I
Professor Bear?
agree too. I agree too, man. Go on and he's never been outside the WWE. Man, go out there and see what it's like. See how much name recognition you can pull. Because let's face it, he could make some good indie money. He'll be able to pull whatever he would like. I think that and this is a great thing. When you have competition, that means you have other options. That means you don't have to sit around and take one people's crap about you. That's why the New Day was like, screw it. Let's go. You want us to take a pay cut? Just let's go. Yep. I guarantee you we can go out there and make money. Because Lord, when late July hits and they show up on AEW, they're gonna make some money.
We're gonna see a lot of FTR versus whatever they're calling the New Day now.
Yep, and the dream match between them and the Young Bucks.
That's it. And that's the thing is Kofi, yes, Kofi, Xavier, Miz, LA Knight, they're all up there in age. Mm-hmm. But they're not so far up there in age that they can't make an impact for a year or two. Yeah. And help enough. Like you said, man, those 4 guys right there showing up in AEW, those 4 guys showing up in TNA, you telling me that's not going to boost ratings at least for a little bit? And then if you're smart enough to get somebody like a Road Dogg who does know the business, who does have a good mind for it, and especially a fundamental mind for the business. How much knowledge have people like the Road Dogg forgot just from listening to his dad talk? Not even being in the business himself, just listening to his dad talk and, forgetting things. So it's like you add all that together, you could catch that lightning in a bottle that I was talking about. And it may not be one of them 4 that does it, but it could be a younger guy that, because everybody's got their eyes on that because of LA Knight, the next Stone Cold comes up and gives that promo, or, the next Hulk Hogan comes up and, wins that title, or, whatever the case may be. The next NWO shows up, next DX, whatever. Those 4 guys could, and I'm not saying they all are going to end up in the same place and everything, but it's just, leave and get what you can, do what you can, and enjoy the last few years of what you've got to do in this business as far as being a major player. Because like you said, once that's over, all these guys can go work weekends, and do, garner pretty much whatever amount of money they want to, and, have a fairly easy schedule, and, I haven't watched one independent match where they're putting on great matches. And I don't want it to sound like I'm saying that they're not, but I haven't watched one where anybody is doing anything death defying to where your career's going to end. They're going out there putting on good shows, giving the fans the quality, wrestling that we want, and they're going home. And they're going home with all their limbs intact. They're not jumping through tables. They're not jumping off balconies. They're not, it's just, there's still plenty of opportunity for these guys, and they need to go out there and capitalize on it. I 100% agree with y'all. Leave and see what you can get. But yeah, guys, that's all the stories I have today. Uncle Slam, you got anything else?
I mean, I can run down the match us real quick if you want, or we can wait till another time because we're at minute 40, an hour 44.
We're at about an hour 44, and I don't want to hold Uncle.
Yeah,
Lord, there I
so
go, Uncle Professor, Uncle
yeah,
Bear, and
he's just
whoever
trying to
else I'm
put us
talking to.
together and
I
shit.
I
know.
know it. Look, they're gonna be kicking me off, and it's gonna be the Uncle Professor show here
Yeah.
soon.
So
They're like, this guy don't know what he's doing. Let's get rid
yeah,
of him.
so I'd probably rather just tap out right now, like I said, where it's already we pushing almost 2 hours.
Yes, sir. Well, I do want to say that before we get out of here, I'm going to go ahead and start promoting this. I said promoting this again. I can't talk tonight, people. I don't know
Yeah,
what's
you
going
really
on,
need to get some rest.
man. But July 10th at 8 p.m., we are bringing Mr. Mario Mancini back for part 2. He had to kind of cut out a little early on us last time. He had an injury at his show, which is Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. Go check it out. Independent promotion. I've been watching a little bit of their stuff on Facebook and stuff. Seems like a good promotion. But come check it out. This is going to be another great interview. Always fun sitting down talking to him. He had great stories last time. And like we said, we didn't even have to really do any talking. We just listened to him, which was kind of awesome in and of itself. But other than that, I don't have anything else to promo. Next week, we will have Michael Zodiac on our show. He's a AMW indie wrestler around Kentucky. Great guy from what I've talked to and everything. Uncle Barry, you got anything you want to promote? I said Uncle Bear again. Yep. Lord God.
What is wrong with you?
Here, get the mic out of my face. I'm done. Like Dave Coulier, cut it out. Just get me out of here, man. Lord.
Not too much. Just if I had anything I would say is man, continue watching wrestling, continue being a fan. I still think we're in the cusp of a great renaissance age for the indies. I think some moves are going to happen that the indies are going to catch fire again, and I'm definitely all down for that. And I think that with all these older wrestlers in WWE, I think it's a good thing to get out, get yourself, do a tour, and wait. Then you could come back to WWE when they want to put you in the Hall of Fame. And I'm gonna say this about Miz: as much as I love Miz's character, he cracks me up all the time. If they gave him another world title run, I think I would break my TV.
Yeah,
I love Miz. He's funny, but as far as a serious champion threat, no. Now, if it's the U.S. Intercontinental, I'm with it. Hell, I'd be even cool if they let him win the women's title. But the Miz, no.
And see, that's the thing with the Miz is like they've spent too many of the past few years making him into a joke, and that's my theory with no pun intended, Austin theory, is that you cannot sit there for 3 or 4 years and make this guy a joke every week on TV, and then shave his head, let him grow a beard, put some combat pants on him and tell him to come out and be a serious wrestler, and I'm supposed to take him serious. It doesn't work like that, and that's what they've done with the Miz. So I agree, he needs to go somewhere else, have his say, have another little heyday run somewhere else, and be done with it.
I look at the Miz like we talked about the Big Show. Man, you flip-flop the Miz so much, you made us not give a shit about Miz.
100%. 100%. Well, gentlemen, Professor Bear, look, I said it right that time. Professor
You
Bear, we appreciate you spending this evening with us doing these last two shows. Everybody, make sure you go out and check out his shows. He's part of the Wrestling Society Network, and he's got his show A Bear's Thought. Great show. We've appeared on there a couple times too. We appreciate him having us on there. He does a lot of great things for Wrestling Society. They got a lot of great things coming down the pipe too. I don't want to tip the hat too much because I know, things are kind of hush hush, but yeah, keep your eyes and ears posted and go follow, like, and share all his stuff. And guys, if that's it, I guess we are going to ring the damn bell.